Hey everybody, let's talk about update number 84. A bit of a contentious update. Delays, even more delays. I mean, I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, clearly I'm disappointed. Recently, as recently as update, I believe it's 81. I can't remember if it's exactly in here or not. It's either an 81. Here's the timeline, actually. Let's start here. Update number 76. This was a timeline, fulfillment's going to be, start of August, freight shipping begins, etc. And then it was essentially confirmed here, May the 28th. I'm still optimistic that, Isaac said he's still optimistic that everything can, get to the printers on time and all that kind of good stuff. Although, he was very transparent about the shipping updates. And now we're at least 2 months out from that. So first of all, he says it's not great. Review processes are taking longer than expected and freight shipping is still oppressive. So first of all, what are your thoughts? There's a Reddit thread that's very contentious. There's some people in it that are not very happy and some things were said. I think they're maybe a little bit overblown. People tend to have, really polarized views and, there's some views in this Reddit thread. We'll go through it. It gets pretty crazy, but I just want to talk about it briefly because I think despite the fact that, the person or persons in this thread are very polarized, they've got some good points. So, like a delayed game is not necessarily always a good game. And delaying doesn't necessarily always make it better. Now, I think, what's really happened here is that Frosthaven has gotten away from Isaac Childress a little bit. I mean, the guy loves to deliver value. Gloomhaven was an insane value for its price point, and I just feel like Frosthaven has gotten away from him a little bit. There's 138 scenarios. Like, it's going to be flipping massive, and that's one of the delays in this update is that the current page count of the scenario book is 184, and the section book is 197. And so all the proofing and everything that has to go on for those is essentially what's causing the 2 month delay. My problem with this is that this should have been known back in the May update, I think. I get that there's a worldwide pandemic and that there's shipping problems because of that, all that stuff. This right here, it has nothing to do with that. This has to do with a fairly major miscalculation not that long ago. I think here he's talking about infamous update 80 here. We were not even going to go into that. But production timeline was supposedly still on track at this point, I believe. And if it, should have known at that point in time. I have a business background. I've had to deliver on a lot of massive, $20-40 million projects, stuff like that. I've had to deliver on them, and you should have a little bit better understanding. I think it just comes down to, like I said, the scope has just gotten so massive. 138 scenarios, that's more than 40 more scenarios than were in base Gloomhaven. That is a huge amount of extra content, and I think it's been a bit of a landslide. Everything just seems to have kind of gotten away from him. And to be fair, he's managing all this pandemic stuff too. And so that makes it really difficult to, he probably has had to spend a bunch of extra time shipping, right? On the shipping portion. So let's talk about the Reddit thread. I'm just going to go to this Reddit thread here. This guy, this is an unpopular take, but I hate the trend now that people are given a timetable and nobody ever delivers, and we praise them because we just assume it's going to be better because waiting. And then edit fight me on this. This guy, he's clearly got a polarized opinion, a bit, clearly overly opinionated, but makes some fair points, right? Like, take something like Star Citizen. Star Citizen has just been an absolute show for, I'm not a backer or anything. I think it's been like 8 or 9 years it's been in the works now, right? And he's saying here, y'all like the waiting more than the game. They shouldn't be praised for bad managing and delays. And then anyone remember Cyberpunk? I mean, I guess that's the most recent example of a game that's been delayed a lot and still under-delivered. I think I'll put a link to this thread down in the comments or in the description. Sorry, I'm going to put a link down in the description so that you guys can go and read through this. I think there's some good points being made, and there's a lot of fighting in here. This guy, when I originally read the thread, this person was not deleted. So the person, got downvoted pretty substantially on every comment because, I mean, they're so polarized and so strong in their views. But they do have some decent points. They've got some decent points in here about, things that can be accounted for should have been accounted for. And things like, the scenario books and stuff like that. That should have been known earlier. And like I said, I think it's just to the scope. Like, I'm going to leave this link down in the description. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to know your thoughts. Is the delay warranted? Do you feel like this delay is warranted because they're trying to make the game better? Or is this a case of mismanagement? I feel like it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. I feel like we should have known that these scenario books weren't going to be ready on time, and hence there was going to be at least a 2-month delay from what we were previously told. And, that's not accounting for shipping or anything else. Okay, so we know it's delayed, and I just want to say I called it. I called this before. There is a Reddit thread with me calling it. I mean, I said it's probably not going to make it. I think most people probably called it, so I probably shouldn't feel too special. However, I did call it. He's saying early 2022, but the problem is that with how shipping is right now, he thinks it could be a very spread out shipping process. So it's not like it's going to fulfill in early 22 and then all 90,000 plus backers or whatever it is are going to get them within the next month. Like, you could be waiting a year and a half. Like, if he can't get container space, like, space on ships, etc., it may come out in dribbles. And I am terrified of that because, what if I don't get my copy until like 18 months down the road or something, and other people have their copies, early, like Q1 2022? That's the most terrifying part about this update to me. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. I don't mind a delay, but I am just so horrified that, copies are going to be sent out in like essentially like this very slow method because there's no shipping container space, and that, some people will be massively delayed over others. Let me know what you think. Also, I forgot to add, you can still get a refund because of these delays. So if you're like, I'm sick and tired of this, I don't want to take the chance that, it's going to come out really slowly and I'll be one of the last ones to get it, years down the road or whatever it may be, you can go for a refund. Just email support. I think it's support@Cephalofair. And yeah, you can get yourself a refund. I won't be doing that, but I think it's definitely warranted, and I wouldn't, hold it against anybody if they're like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with all this stuff during COVID. I want to, get my money back and do something else with it. Isaac, if you want, you can message me for help. I probably couldn't do a lot right now, but if you're looking for any balancing tweaks or, any thoughts, I haven't done any play testing yet, but I'm always open. I have no idea if he's ever even heard of my channel. Probably not. Let's talk about attack modifiers and the changes to the attack modifiers. But before we get there, if you're liking the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. It helps YouTube promote this channel to other people who are looking for Gloomhaven and Frosthaven content. And also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that when I publish new content, you're notified. And I just wanted to let everyone know, this is the first time I think I've announced it in a video, I am starting a Patreon. Stay tuned. The details on that will be out maybe in like a week or two. I'm really excited. I'm working hard on it, trying to figure out how to bring you guys the coolest stuff, bring you great value so that we can build a great community together. All right, now let's talk attack modifier cards. So we've got a new layout, and we've got some things that are a lot more interesting. Looking at this Banner Spear one right here, add +1 attack for each of your allies adjacent to the target. I love that they're more interesting than the Gloomhaven ones. It looks like they're going to be a little bit more intricate, which, I mean, does carry some small problems. When things are more intricate, you tend to, miss more rules and more things go wrong. And, it's harder for beginning players to grasp and really work out a strategy. But for someone who's a Gloomhaven vet, I love the fact that there's a more interesting ability. And then they're changing the layout. And I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you, because essentially what's going to happen is this +2 here, when there's an ability like this push, it's going to be to the left and it's going to be small. However, if there's no ability, it's going to stay like this, where it's just going to be the huge number, and then rolling is always going to be on the right-hand side here. But that essentially means that a +2 is either going to be here on the left or kind of in the middle. I don't know if I like that. I mean, I don't like how you're changing the position of the actual number. It's not a massive deal to me, but I just think that for clarity, it's nice to keep things in the same position. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that this new layout is functionally superior? If you do, why? And if you hate it, also let me know too. It just doesn't make sense to me to change the position of the modifier. I liked the old ones, and just so you know, I'm not set in my ways. I'm not an old Gloomhaven guy hey, and there's lots of threads out there about the Frosthaven ability card changes. I actually liked the Frosthaven ability card changes. It took me a little while to just kind of figure out if I liked it or not. I was a bit on the fence in the beginning, but the more I look at it, the more it makes sense to me, and you can convey more with iconography. There's just a little bit of a learning curve, and they did test that. So I'm not a grouchy old Gloomhaven guy who's like, damn you, don't you change my Gloomhaven format. I legitimately am like, I don't know about this. Whereas I love the Frosthaven ability cards. I just want to get that out of the way. I'm not just a grouchy old guy who hates change. The game looks great. I think, like I said, the scope, it just got away from them, and they mismanaged their timelines. That is a fact. That being said, Isaac Childress, this guy's a legend. He works really hard. He is extremely intelligent. He delivered a great product in Gloomhaven. I don't think that you should cancel your pledge. Although, like I said, I would feel like it was totally warranted. I won't be canceling my pledge because of this, but I just really hope that it's not some sort of slow dribble, and that he figures out a way to get this game to us in a relatively short time frame once it is actually completed. Make sure you comment down below. I really want to know what you think about this one. I kind of felt my heart sink as I read this update. It was a pretty rough one to take, just with all the ambiguity and the potential for not getting this game for a really long time. And, it's important for me to get Frosthaven early. I do videos on Gloomhaven, some other games, but mostly Gloomhaven. So missing out on Frosthaven is kind of my livelihood. If there's anyone out there with connections to Cephalo Fair that can make sure I get a copy on time, hey, hit me up, give me a call. I've got an email on my channel. You can definitely email me and let me know. That's pretty much it for the video. If you have anything else to add, if I've missed anything, make sure you comment. Thanks so much for watching, and a special thank you to my subscribers. I couldn't do it without you.